Let's move on now to the New York Giants at the Philadelphia Eagles. 6-seed Giants, 1-seed Eagles, divisional rivals. Eagles are 7.5-point favorites. Over-under in this game set at 48. Eagles obviously sealed their number 1 overall seed just a couple weeks ago against a frisky Giants team that was playing basically all their backups. 22-16 victory over the Giants to win the NFC East to clinch the 1 seed. That game's kind of fresh in a lot of people's minds because I think everyone was very impressed by what the Giants did, what Brian Daboll did with all his backups, how they kind of kept that game very competitive to the end. In looking at what the Giants did last weekend, it's hard not to be incredibly impressed with Daniel Jones. As a passer, he balled out. He threw for 301 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 78 rushing yards, was running all over the Vikings, especially in the first half, really set the tone there. An astoundingly impressive performance for a guy I've never really had a lot of time for. I just didn't really respect Daniel Jones's game, and that's something that I have to face now. I overlooked him as a player. The line at 7.5 in a divisional matchup doesn't feel super great to me. I never like crossing one of those key numbers. As anyone knows here, I hate the half point on the 3 and on the 7. I hate the hook. I'll always buy it here. My lean in this game is going to be on the Eagles -7, and I will tell you why. Everyone, every year, buys into some wildcard team, some team that comes out of that first round hot as a pistol, looking super great, and everyone's very impressed with them, only to have that team get smoked in the second round. And maybe that is the Dallas Cowboys. Maybe that's them. Maybe that's what's going to happen in that 49ers game. But I don't think so. It feels like this New York Giants team, a team that has played over their heads basically every week of the entire season. They won a playoff game on the road. They've continued that hot streak of overperforming. This is the most expensive wide receiver room in the NFL. Nonetheless, they're throwing touchdowns to guys like Isaiah Hodgins in the playoffs. Kenny Golladay is not playing. It's just incredibly impressive what Daboll has done with this Giants team, but I think that Cinderella story ends this week with the Eagles covering the 7.5-point line. As I said before, in actually betting this game, I'm going to take the Eagles -7. I'm going to buy that hook, lay away from the 7.5, but it could be an Eagles blowout, so keep that in mind. If you think we're going to see a certain result in one of these games, it makes sense for you to do some correlated props. So here I love Devonta Smith plus the Eagles money line. That'll get you plus 172. That'll probably be a 1 or 2 unit play for me. Devonta Smith had 7 receptions last time these two teams played in Week 18. Then Devonta Smith scored a touchdown in the earlier matchup. This guy just feels like someone who's due to get in the end zone. If the Giants sell out to stop A.J. Brown from getting in there, I could see Devonta Smith getting past that secondary, just getting in at some point or another. Remember last week, K.J. Osborne scored for Dallas. These guys are kind of similar players, kind of shifty in the middle of the field. Devonta Smith could be that guy this week. I also love first half touchdown scorer Jalen Hurts. You can get plus 210 on Jalen Hurts' score in the first half, and Devonta Smith at plus 320 to score in the first half. I know you need that score early, but it feels like a game where the Eagles are going to jump out on top of the Giants team, of their divisional rivals. They are eager to put a hurting on this team, I think. Feels like something that's going to happen here. If you can parlay Devonta Smith with the Eagles money line, you'll get even better odds, or Jalen Hurts first half score with the money line, you'll get even better odds. Obviously, if they don't score in the first half, then that's a loss. I also like Richie James anytime touchdown scorer and Daniel Bellinger anytime touchdown scorer for the Giants. I would parlay both of those with the Eagles money line. The payout on Richie James anytime touchdown scorer and the Eagles money line is 8-1 and 15-1 on Bellinger. So something to keep in mind. Also, maybe just do a half, one of those half plays I mentioned before. First half score Richie James or second half score Richie James. He scored a touchdown against his team when they played earlier in the year and really was kind of showing out in that earlier game they played. I love the Eagles tease down to -1.5 and the Chiefs tease down to -2.5. That's going to be my biggest play of the entire week. 4-unit max play. Feels like there's not a world in which that doesn't cover, but I'm a little bit afraid about it. Just because these two teams are the 1 seeds. Obviously, I could see the Chiefs maybe not covering that 8.5-point line, but as I said before, I don't see a world in which they are not winning that game, at least. And the Eagles feel the same way. They're going to take care of their divisional rival and win that game outright. So give me the tease, 6-point tease, Chiefs down to 2.5 and Eagles down to 1.5.